93, 93, 93. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. You already know what it is. Uh-oh. Hold up. Okay. Let's get this music right. Hold on. Let me get myself right here. Let's just get right. All right. All right. All right. All right. We're good to go. We're good to go. Let's start this over. All right. So the title of this is titled Commune with the Gods, Goddesses, to be like the gods and goddesses. We are not one, we are none. You know, this 93 shit. 93 shit. You already know what it is. So my reason for coming up here today is, y'all know I just did a 5-hour live stream yesterday. It probably would have went to 9 hours, but I got cut off by YouTube. YouTube shut that shit down. But I was talking some madness as usual, right? Revealing things that people probably shouldn't know, but y'all know how I do. So I just want to hit on a couple points that I didn't get to address yesterday, so we can make the cipher complete, right? Of course, today is the 11th of September. So you already know, I got mad love for New York, so you already know. RIP to everybody who was involved in 9/11, the first responders, the dead, the living. Just want to give my respects to those people first and foremost. And we'll go in. What's up, Sharice? Y'all already know. I don't know who this guy is. Tomeg 818. Covenant means to eat bread with. Bread is sherbet, white powder of gold. The white powder of gold. I have no idea where you're going with that. I have no idea. One word on Egyptian temple of Giza near entrance to King's Chamber, the word bread. Ormus, continue some. Hey guys, you just coming out the woodwork with that, huh? We ain't even got into the video. You just coming out the woodwork with that, huh? I'm fucking playing Migos and shit. We talking about pyramids of Giza. I'm over here playing Migos. R.I.P. Takeoff. R.I.P. Takeoff. That's the real Pharaoh. Since we want to go there. R.I.P. to the real Pharaoh Takeoff. That's where I'm going with it. So it's really respect because he did die this month around last year, right? Around Halloween, the Day of the Dead. So shout out to the real Pharaoh, right? But let me just take this a little bit at a time, right? But I'm not even, I have to put on, I gotta put these on. Gotta put on the Medusas. Let me put the Medusas on. And let me get the energy right. All right. Let me turn this off. I'm gonna turn this off actually. Just wanted to give some love to Takeoff, but let's get to put the real shit on. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. Here we go. All right. So going into the video of you must commune with the gods to be like the gods. You must commune with the goddesses to be like the goddesses. And this is the main issue that people have. They're not actually doing the necromantic work to really commune. What I mean by that is, there's just certain things you can't do when you begin to attach yourself with any type of ancient science or ancient civilization, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Kim. When you attach yourself to these energies, when you attach yourself to these vibrations, you are required to live your life in a certain way, basically like the ancients. If you're not moving like the ancients move, but you're claiming ancient energy or ancient wisdom, it's going to end very badly for you. It's going to end very badly for you, right? What I mean by that is, of course, people come into this knowledge and they want to change their names. They want to name themselves after the gods. They want to name themselves after the goddesses. I'm sure you people know plenty. Isis, people name themselves Isis, Osiris, Amun, right? And they don't really reflect that energy because they're not actually communing with the gods or the goddesses themselves. What I mean by that is, if the gods and the goddesses don't respect you, then you're not going to be able to download the wisdom that they dedicated their whole lives to. Because these are our ancestors, right? They dedicated their whole lives for us to know what we know today. If somebody wasn't putting in that work in the past, we wouldn't have all this information because we are in the age of technology. So all of this wisdom has been placed right at our fingertips. So it's only one or two ways that this can go. People would take this knowledge and become what they already are, or they will transform. A lot of people just become a bigger version of what they already are. For example, their egos get inflated, right? That's why a lot of people who claim this knowledge, they tend to get real, like you can't really tell them shit because they become ego maniacs. But we are none. We're not one because one represents the sun. The egomaniacs. That's the energy of the number one. You can say that's a negative attribute of the sun. You got positive attributes of the sun, but you have negative attributes of the sun. But when you are none, when you are zero, now you go into the dimensions of Pluto. Remember, Pluto comes before the sun. That's why zero is before one. So while most people think one, the sun is so big, the sun is so powerful. We see the sun rise and fall every day. You have worshippers of the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. But you really don't hear about Pluto. Pluto actually got demoted. Oh, Pluto is not really a planet. Pluto has no influence. That's what the astrophysicists say. Pluto is not even something we need to even consider as a planet anymore. The reason why they did that is because Pluto's influence has always been invisible. Pluto's influence has always been on a level where you can't perceive unless you're really about this shit. You can't even perceive Pluto. So, of course, the world is not going to be able to perceive Pluto. You're not doing the fucking work to perceive Pluto because you're still stuck in the energy of the number one. Again, all people who just run their goddamn mouth think they sound important, but it makes no sense in terms of the game that our ancestors laid down. They are not in alignment with the ancestors because they feel that they are smarter, they are more intelligent. We have all these instruments, we know more than what they knew. That type of thinking is what destroys your soul. Meaning, if you feel you are greater or more intelligent or smarter than the ancestors, then what makes you think they want to fuck with you? when you have that type of mentality. And that's why a lot of us get lost, where they blessed you, but then they took the blessings away. That's how that shit go, right? As they say, God giveth, God taketh away type shit. But we know God is really the ancestors. So the ancestors will bless you, but they will take them blessings away. Like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You're not using the game properly. And they will let you know because it will begin to reflect in your life because you're living a wrong lifestyle. What do I mean by living a wrong lifestyle? We have every single example to pull from in today's times, honestly, because everybody's putting everything out on the internet. We have perfect examples of why this happens. But let me give you a couple of examples. People use spirituality as a way to do whatever they want, get away with whatever they want. How do we know this? Because that's why we have so many scammers in the community. This is why we have so many people telling lies in the so-called spiritual community or conscious community. That's why it's filled with a bunch of people who are on low-level bullshit, right? They still are trying to deceive you. They have the energy of the trickster on them. They are basically magicians, not the magus. They are magicians, right? So ever since YouTube has been in existence, we have been faced with a bunch of magicians, people trying to sell products, people trying to say why they should be the ones that we should listen to, so on and so forth, right? But over time, time shows and reveals all. These people slowly fade into oblivion because of what they're actually doing, not what they're saying. They can come in front of a camera and say whatever they want to say. But when you get off of this camera and you still live like a savage, it's only a matter of time before that catches up to you. And I know this because you see, I've been a part of YouTube the whole time, right? And never have y'all seen anybody saying that I've done anybody wrong, especially when it comes to business. I've been on YouTube 10 years. You haven't seen one video of somebody accusing me of doing something that was unrighteous, right? It's not too many people that can say that because they're on bullshit, right? I guarantee if I did somebody wrong, they will let the world know. Why not? Because we see it with everybody else, of course. So I'm not spared because I'm blessed or I'm favored. I just live righteously, period, right? Anything a person has given me, I've given equal or more back. I understand that law because I live that law. That's why I'm still here. I'm not just here because I'm just so happen to be here. I'm here because of what I do when the camera turns off. That's why I can still get in front of you and still be righteous and just tell you the truth. I don't have to mislead you. I don't need anything from anybody at this point, right? This is just game, recognized game. This is just real, recognized real. Nothing more, nothing less. Which is how it should be. I shouldn't really come on here trying to sell you a fucking product. For what? I'm here to reveal the lifestyles of the ancients, of the ancestors, so that we can all be in tune. Not all one, but all none. Again, I'm not saying this because this is easy to do. It's not easy to do this. It's not easy to be a prophet. It's not easy to be a saint. None of this shit is easy. That's why most people choose not to be it, or they only are a certain way in front of people. But again, as they say, what you do in the dark will come to the light. So if I was really on some bullshit, somebody would have exposed me by now. Because you know, YouTube loves to expose motherfuckers. But for whatever reason, you can't find no videos of nobody exposing me. And I've been here longer than most creators. Where's the videos at? So I'm just saying that to say that I just don't give people a reason to give me that type of energy. Especially now, I'm not even asking anybody for anything. I don't give a fuck if you get my products or not. It does not even matter at this point, right? So there's really no reason for anybody to say anything negative. I'm like, yo, I'm not even asking for your money. I don't give a fuck about likes, comments. None of that matters. People do what they want to do because they want to do it, not because I'm asking. I can be like everybody else, hit the like button, like, comment, subscribe. I don't even do that. I don't care if you like, comment, or subscribe at this point because it is irrelevant. I don't care about the numbers, right? But most people do. So they're willing to sacrifice who they really are to be a fabrication of what they think they should be. So I'm just here to give you the warning. Don't follow the path of the majority because they will have you screwed up. The only reason I'm still here is because you see, I don't be around anybody. I actually live this for real. Somebody would have took me the fuck out by now if I wasn't who I say I was, guaranteed. If I was with the wrong crowd in the streets doing all type of madness, doing, I would have been exposed by now, right? But I never put myself in those positions, for real. Every time you see me on this camera, do you ever see other people? I don't ever put nobody else on camera. Why? Because there really ain't nobody around me. I don't have friends. I don't have people that just around just because. Everybody serves a purpose. Because those be the type of people that throw you under the bus. The people that you brought in, you thought they was cool, but then they saw what you was really doing, and it's like, oh, I can't fuck with it. So we've all seen this play out on the internet. The internet is undefeated, right? The internet is undefeated. But so am I. So am I. I'm undefeated, right? Meaning, because I just simply tell the truth. That's why I'm here. I'm like, well, there is no reason to lie. There is no reason to mislead. Even if the truth is uncomfortable, I'm going to say it. And I will deal with the consequences. And I always have to deal with the consequences. Meaning, if I have to sacrifice the fame and the fortune and all that, the luxuries, oh well. Because reality is real. You got to live with yourself, right? You got to live with yourself. And most people are uncomfortable with themselves, right? Most people are uncomfortable with themselves. But you see, I stay with the Medusas, right? I stay with the demon head, right? I stay calling myself the devil in the flesh. That's just me accepting my shadow. So that's why I could say I'm the devil in the flesh, I'm the Dajjal, I'm the Antichrist. That's me accepting my shadow. That's me realizing that I may not be a good person, but I'm a necessary component to the universe, just like you are a necessary component to the universe, right? But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. That actually means it's going to be harder. My life is harder than most people. My whole life is hardship, but I make the shit look easy. But that doesn't mean it is easy. I just make it look easy. Because I know nobody's going to follow the path that I laid down, that I put in front of you, right? And it's not for anybody to follow it. It's just to show you that it doesn't matter what struggles are put in front of your face, you can overcome them. That's all I've really shown this entire channel. You can overcome anything because I have shown you worse situations than even you have been in. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I have been in worse situations than most people watching me. I guarantee it. And I've documented it and showed you how I can overcome it. Just to let you know that it don't matter what situation you may be in, you can overcome it. That's all I really came here to present as an example. That's why I really don't like doing too much talking, man. You can just watch and learn, right? Watch and learn. Watch and learn. So, to commune with the gods, you have to be like the gods, meaning you have to live a certain type of way, meaning you have to remove everything from your life that is unnecessary because there's no way God or the goddess can even enter into your atmosphere if your atmosphere is not on point. What I mean by your atmosphere, your actual spirit body, right? Your astral body, your etheric body. That's how you receive the downloads, right? Most people can't even dream, but that's when the dead interacts with you. We commune with the gods. We commune with the living. We commune with the dead when we dream. But most people have sacrificed their dreams to be something that they're not. Imagine that. Imagine most people don't dream, but they may have money, they may have success, they may have whatever it is that people feel that they desire, but that really don't mean nothing. What's a fucking car? How do you compare that to dreams? When that's the time to communicate with the ancestors. So you have no dreaming ability, but you got a nice car, nice neighborhood, but no dreaming ability. So you're not doing no commune with the gods. That's why everybody wants to have a relationship with God, but that's why you dream. You commune with God through dreams. So if you are unable to dream or remember your dreams and you're not getting no communes, you're not receiving no downloads because you have to live a certain way to dream. You don't get to just live your life however you want to live and do whatever you want to do. See, people get this shit twisted. Do what thou wilt doesn't mean you just do whatever you want because there's a consequence to every action. Do what thou wilt means you must unlock your true will. Do what you came here to do. Don't like, I'm just going to exercise my free will and I'm just going to do whatever I want without a consequence. No, you must unlock your true will. Because when you unlock your true will, you don't care to do what the world leads you in a direction to do. You don't care about that shit, right? For example, if I use myself as an example, the entire 2023, this entire year, I have not laid down with a woman. This whole fucking year. We're in September. We are in the ninth month. That's the 9 fucking months. I've not been in commune with women. I've not even allowed a woman in my personal space this whole fucking year. Because what I get from it is more than a quick release. What I get from purifying myself is worth more than a quick release. So these are the type of sacrifices I make. I be going whole years with no sexual activity. Do I expect people to follow that lead? No. Because you got to tame your demons first before you can even think to do something like that, or they will overwhelm you because they don't just go away. You have to actually tame them. You're not just going to disappear because you prayed. Your shadow doesn't go anywhere. Your shadow is with you at all times. You can't hide. You can't hide from your own shadow. You may try to hide your shadow from the world, but you can't hide from your shadow. That's why people keep doing the same thing, right? They keep falling into the same loops because they're not true to themselves, because they refuse to accept their own darkness. So you can only go so far before your darkness catches up to you, right? And that's why most people will never live this type of lifestyle. Most people are not willing to make that sacrifice. They're just not. And I understand it. That's why I have to do it. I have to do what everybody is not willing to do because, I understand that it's necessary. It's not that it's important. It's absolutely necessary, right? How the fuck could I come before you and I live like a savage? But I'm supposed to be revealing some type of truth. I'm supposed to be giving you some type of game, but I'm really behind the scenes scamming people that's fucking on anything. It wouldn't make any sense. It would actually reflect in my aura, and I actually would not be allowed to speak after a certain amount of time because of the way I live. How do we know that? Just look at all these other teachers. They speak for a certain time, then they disappear because of what they were doing off camera. Not what they were doing on camera, it's what they were doing off camera. And when the ancestors decide you no longer are able to hold this position, not because you made a mistake, everybody's going to make mistakes. It's about your intention. When you intend to be one of the prophets, when you put in your consciousness, I am a saint, not for the clout, not for the fame, not for the fortune, but for the zero, not the one, the zero. But most people don't even know the signs of the zero. The one is what fucks people up. Again, this is how people become egomaniacs, and it don't even have nothing to do with the knowledge. You can be an egomaniac and you work at a goddamn factory. You can be an egomaniac and you work for the goddamn you work for the you a garbage man or a garbage woman. So it don't matter about the occupation. It's about you identifying with these numbers, which most people don't know the science of as well, right? Most people are not into numerology. Most people are not into gematria. So most people don't understand how these numbers really work because you have to do experiments. The reason why I understand the numbers so well is because I conducted experiments. So I can notice these energies when they are outside of myself because I go inside first and foremost, right? But that's what I spend my time doing. I've been doing this shit for who knows how long, right? So to the point where it's not really challenging for me because I've been doing it for so long. But for somebody who's just really evolving and coming into it, now you got to face your shadow. And that's the toughest battle that you will ever have to deal with, your internal activities, meaning your Pluto. So when we talk about a person's shadow, you're really talking about your Pluto, the planet that nobody wants to deal with. Because everybody's worried about their sun sign, but I guarantee they're not even thinking about their Pluto sign because they feel Pluto is so insignificant. So they're not even thinking about their Pluto sign. They're more so worried about their zodiac sign, right? People still don't understand the power of Pluto because they try to downplay it. But I was the one to tell you, you need to look at your chart in reverse. Start with Pluto and make your way to the sun. But most people start with the sun, and they never make it to Pluto. They never even make it to the outer planets. They stop at Saturn. Saturn is your career. So most people have careers and they sacrifice it. They sacrifice it all for that career. They sacrifice family. People don't have children because their career is the most important. So they never made it outside of the boundaries of Saturn. They don't know nothing about Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto. And for those who are into the Uranus, the Neptune, and the Pluto, they really don't understand how the sun works because we know the sun is the ancestors. The ancestors go inside of the sun, right? That's why the sun shines so bright. It is the collective energy of the ancestors, right? But that's not something you're just gonna know off bat. Give me a second. Okay. So I say these things. Hold on. I keep getting these Amazon notifications. Fucking packages just stay rolling in and shit. So I'm saying all this because I understand it personally because I live this personally, day in, day out, right? Every day I refuse bullshit. Every day I refuse it. I refuse to have people around me that's not qualified. That's why I say I don't have friends. I don't have people that I call. I don't talk on the phone. The most talking I do is on here, right? I don't call talking about my problems. I don't even speak about that shit, right? So I stay in the silence. I stay in a dungeon, right? And I reveal myself only when it's necessary. That's why I only wear black now, right? I told you all that yesterday. I don't even wear colors no more. I just wear black. If I go out into the world, I'm gonna always be wearing all black from head to toe. It just is what it is at this point because again, black takes you to Saturn. Saturn is a planet of protection. So I protect myself if I ever go out into the world. I'm not inviting like I'm wearing red. Like that's a color of invitation, right? You want people to see you when you wear red. Or you could say a yellow or like a bright color or a hot pink, some shit like that. I don't do any of that. Not anymore. Saying that I didn't do that at one point, but I don't do it anymore. I'm like, why do I give a fuck about another person's attention or what they think about their opinions? None of this shit even matters to me at this point. Why? Because I just commune with the ancestors. I commune with those who came before me. I commune with the dead. I have plenty of company, right? So there's really no need for friends. Like, why the fuck do I need friends? Like if people are just serious and honest with themselves, you're like, damn, what do I really need friends for? Because you're missing something inside of yourself. It's something that you refuse to accept inside of you. That's why you have to have people around you That's just a reality, right? That's why you're willing to deal with people who you know are not righteous, but again, they may be your friend. But you know that they not on the same type of time you on, but you like, yo, I ain't trying to be out here without friends. Weak shit, weak shit. But again, that's just a Scorpio in me talking, right? It's like I just had to be made of steel. I'm like, the same people that you love is the people that hurt you the most. We know that already, right? The same people that you love, the same people that you invite in, the same people that you reveal your secrets to, are the same people that expose you when shit doesn't go their way. Friends become enemies. So why have friends who will one day be your enemy because they may not agree with something you do or something you say? Like, why create enemies when you could just simply commune with those who really give a fuck about you? Fuck these pussy ass friends. Fuck them. You don't need them. And if you feel you do need them, it's because you lack. So until you fix what you lack, of course you're gonna. I need money. I need friends. I need this. I need that. No, you don't. Or we're human beings or social creatures. You don't have to be. Oh, antisocial is bad. No, it's not. Antisocial just means you are communing with the spirits. And then you're looking at humans as fucking savages. You're like, yo, like, there's no need to even commune with them at all. Why? There's no need for it. But if you're weak, there's gonna always be a reason. You don't. I know you know people who's always on the phone, always talking about their problems, always into some bullshit, always have their goddamn hand out. You know people like that, just like I know people like that. Always asking for shit, never giving nothing in return. They just don't understand how this shit really works, and their lifestyle reflects it, right? All this noise and shit. So I just got to give you the real, right? Most people don't have a relationship with God, even though they think they do. They have a relationship with the demiurge, the false God, but the false God is what leads you to destruction. That's why most people, don't matter if they go to church every Sunday. It doesn't matter if they go to the masjid every Friday. It doesn't matter if they go to the temple. These people are still corrupt. These people are actually more corrupt than people like you and me who stay away from the bullshit. These are the most corrupt people on the planet, religious people. It just is what it is. Why? Because they feel like they can get away with anything because they following behind a false god. So their lifestyles, their morals will not align with the real shit. The real shit is outside of the church. The real shit is outside of the masjid, outside of the synagogue, outside of the temple. Real life is outside of that, right? So you got to be willing to deal with real life. Real life is discipline. Real life is, because for example, you're not supposed to commune with demons and jinns and spirits and basically anything outside of God, right? Because now you're associating God with partners, which is called shirk in Islam. In Islam, it's called shirk when you associate partners with Allah. That's the biggest sin that you can ever commit is shirk. So when you commit shirk, you basically you're like, all right, you're just doomed at that point. So that's a bigger sin than you going out and sleeping around or you scamming people or you're being dishonest. No, the biggest sin is you associating partners with Allah. That's like an unforgivable sin type shit, right? So when I learned that, I'm like, damn, I just committed the most unforgivable sin. I'm like, oh well, I guess I'm going to hell, right? Because that's always a consequence. Oh, you're gonna go to hell. You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna suffer forever unless you do what this God tells you to do. But to me, God makes people stupid as fuck. Unfortunately, right? All these people that's pro God, are these the most intelligent people on the planet? No. Do they live the most righteous lifestyle? No. Not at all, right? because again, they're under the number one. They know nothing of the number zero. Ask them, okay, what's the signs of the number zero? They can't tell you. What's the signs of Pluto? They can't tell you. They probably don't even believe in astrology because you're not supposed to believe in that shit anyway, right? You're not supposed to believe in anything I'm talking about. Imagine that. Basically, this whole channel is forbidden. This whole channel, like, you shouldn't even be listening to a word I have to say. So the fact that you're here, you're basically doomed to hell, according to religious thought. You're not supposed to be doing no tarot readings. You're not supposed to be doing any of these things that we talk about, right? But it's these very things that we speak about that reveal to you your true nature. You find out your true nature by studying yourself. You study yourself by studying your numerology chart, your natal chart, by studying your gematria. The things that you're supposed to stay away from, the things that are supposed to be forbidden by communing with the real spirits. Spirits will not be forbidden if they were not real. Why would something be forbidden if it's not real? If people were not allowed to commune with the dead, why would that be a forbidden science? If it's fake, how do you forbid something that's fake? If sorcery was not real, why is it one of the forbidden arts? If this shit really don't work, why did you have the Salem witch trials if witches don't really have power like that? They feel they had to exterminate witches. Why? Because they know that this shit is real. And it wasn't until the 1950s that the laws changed. And that's when Wicca was born. Because again, I know people don't know the goddamn history. So that's why I had to remind you of the historical nature of these things. It was illegal to practice witchcraft all the way up to 1950. And when it became legal, Wicca was revealed to the world. And when Wicca was revealed to the world, what did it talk about? It talked about the goddess, but it also talked about the horn god. Over time, they removed the horn god. So if you study Wicca today, it's probably not going to mention the horn god. That was removed. So they removed, you can say, the divine masculine and left the divine feminine, which is an imbalance, right? So most people are in balance. Either they're only dealing with the goddess or they're only dealing with this male god. Rarely do you hear people dealing with both sides. That's rare. Either people believe in God, this masculine energy, or they believe in the feminine, the divine feminine. You don't really see both on equal planes, right? That's not really like it don't even make sense to people at this point, right? It don't even make sense to them. Like, it's either this or that. So because most people are missing 50% of who and what they are, because you have to embrace both. That's why we have an ego and we have an alter ego. You have a shadow, and then you have what you think you are, right? We have a consciousness, and then you have an unconsciousness. So for whatever reason, people want to separate and then only deal with 50% of the energy, and we wonder why the world is the way it is. Because they're separating. And when you separate, the scales of Libra or the scales of Mayat become unbalanced. So people don't. It's just due to a lack of study. When your heart is weighed against the feather of Mayat, and you had the 42 helpers, which are your ancestors. So at death, the only people that can help you is your ancestors. For those who know, and I know most people don't know, so I know it's only a small amount of us that actually know this. When your heart is weighed against the feather, if your heart is heavier than the feather, you will be annihilated. It's only if your ancestors take away your karma. You have 42 of them. They are the ones who have to take your karma like, okay, it's a little imbalance. Okay, I'll eat that. I'll eat that. To keep your motherfucking ass balanced. so that you can go into the next life and go into the next world and continue your journey. So without the ancestors, you don't get to continue shit. Fuck a god, fuck a goddess. This is just the ancestors are the only ones who can hold the weight that you laid down. So people spend their whole life talking about God, goddess, and they only kind of deal with the ancestors, but they're the ones that's gonna help balance the scales when it's that time. Nobody else. The ones that we forgot about, the ones that we consider dead, they don't exist, but they're the ones that hold the weight for you. In death and before death, meaning in life as well, in life, in death. It's really the ultimate form of love. Love is a law, love under will. The ultimate form of love is what the ancestors do for you in life and death. So you don't even have to believe in a god or a goddess. Just believe in your own ancestors and you will be okay. Because they are the ones that's really blessing you. So what people feel is God is really your ancestors, right? We revealed that yesterday, but I know people ain't about to watch a 5 hour live stream, so I'm just saying this shit real quick. Because these are things that it's just necessary to know. That's why I'm revealing it, right? If you don't know it, then you're fucked. So I make sure that you know what you need to know so that you have a graceful time here in life and in death. Because people create their own problems. We already know. Problems don't come out of nowhere. Problems are a result of karma. It's called karmic debt, which we create ourselves. We create our own karmic debt. So the only way to release the weight of karma is to deal with your shadow. That's why it's called shadow alchemy. That's the only way to alleviate the weight that you put on yourself. But when you are dealing with your shadow, that's you dealing with your darkness. That's you dealing with the unknown. That's you going into that spooky world that we call the halls of Amenti, which most people would never journey to. Hence, most people are not accepting their shadows. It just is what it is. People try to present their light, but their light is dim because their light is dimmed by their own shadows. What they do in the dark, what they refuse to reveal to people, that's what holds people down, right? So that's why this world is corrupt, because it's a refusal of to do the shadow alchemy necessary to be something great. That's why all great people had a real, you can say they had a dark quality. You can't name one person that was great that didn't have a dark quality to them. It's going to always be there. It's just that they accept it. And when they accept it, the people accept it. And when the people accept it, it is what it is. That's how it should be. Yeah, we have a leader, but our leader likes to do this. But fuck it. At least we know. Instead of all this shit coming out and we didn't know. Right? If not saying that you just gotta put your business out into the world, but people will find out eventually anyway. Right? Because you can't trust people. So whatever you're doing with somebody else, you don't think they're telling other people what's going on behind the scenes. They are. People don't know how to hold their tongue. They don't honor the silence. You have to honor the silence because that's when you begin to hear the words of the ancestors. You have to be in silence. But most people have not found silence because you cannot find silence. Why? Because your shadow is basically why people can't meditate. So a lot of people say they can't meditate. Their monkey mind is always chattering. That's your shadow that refuses to allow you to go into those deeper chambers because you are not going into those deeper chambers without going through this shadow being that you refuse to acknowledge. You're not doing no internal work, no spiritual work without dealing with that shadow. That shadow is basically preventing you from going into deeper chambers. And again, this is most people. That's why most people are not prophets, oracles, all the things that our ancestors were, and all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that we had access to. They were willing to deal with the shadow. I say this because if you were to go to Kim in today's times, so Michelle, 93, salute, much love and respect to you. You already know. Most people will be afraid to step into Egypt, to step into Kim. It would be too goddamn scary. It would be too intimidating, especially at nighttime. Imagine being in Kim at night. All you see is big ass colossals of Egyptian gods and goddesses. That shit fucks with you. But that was the point. It's shadow alchemy. Egypt was not a place where you go and you just do whatever you want. Like, yo, you got to deal with your shadows. You didn't see them temples that's underneath pyramids. It was temples and whole rooms underneath pyramids. So that means you got to go underneath the ground, underneath a pyramid, to really do certain type of work, away from the public, away from the masses. Most people are not willing to do that at all. Who the fuck is going into a secret chamber underneath pyramids and conducting rituals? It's scary as fuck. It is scary as fuck. Imagine being buried alive. It's scary as fuck. Right? So the real work also, what is it called? The rites of passage. That's why they removed the rites of passage. There is no rites of passage no more. People think the rites of passage is the streets. The rites of passage is shadow alchemy. You actually introducing yourself to your shadow. Understanding that you have a twin. And your twin is the complete opposite of you. So if you consider yourself good, your twin is bad. How do you get on the same level with that energy? Somebody who's going to do the exact opposite of what you're used to doing. How are you going to get on the same page with your own shadow? And your shadow is a complete opposite of your consciousness. The subconscious is completely different than the conscious. We know the subconscious is more intuitive. It's more about feeling. It's more about vibes. The consciousness is more about logic and reason and all those things, right? So how do you merge these two worlds so that they are on the same page? And then they open up the unconsciousness to you, and that's where you begin to commune with the gods and goddesses on all the things that we read about in books. Now that's when this shit becomes real, right? So that's why I say, and that's how I know. I can tell who has actually been through a rites of passage, who've actually dealt with some shadow alchemy. I can tell because I've been through it. I put myself in a situation. Again, I had to go through my own rites of passage. This shit didn't just happen. I'm like, okay, I gotta conduct my own shadow alchemy. This is what this channel has all been about. Me conducting my own shadow alchemy. Me putting myself in situations that are uncomfortable so that my shadow arises from the darkness. I have to go to dark places in order to meet the shadow, in order to see, are you really prepared to deal with integrating your shadow with who you think you are? Because your shadow destroys who you think you are. So who I thought I was, I had to destroy it in order to integrate with the shadow, which is absolutely necessary because that's your magical components. You're not doing anything magical without the shadow. The shadow is what holds all of your magical ability. So if you are not on the same page with the shadow, then you don't even have access to your real magic. That's why it's buried underneath the ground or underneath your own consciousness. And most people don't have access to it. And they will not have access to it because of what's required for you to access it. Meaning you have to have no fear. You cannot have a fear of death. So you know how different things become when you have no fear of death. Most people fear death. Most people, be safe, be safe. They be saying that shit when they depart. Be safe, be safe, be safe. The fuck you mean be safe? We not here to be safe. You can see most people don't get this shit. We are not here. We're not here on this planet to be safe. This is a dangerous place. Take your ass to the animal kingdom, they will eat your ass alive. Unless you're integrated with your shadow and you can tame those beasts like our ancestors did. They tame the wild beasts. Do we see people taming wild beasts now? No. They put wild beasts in zoos. That's not how you tame an animal, by putting them in a zoo or putting her in a zoo. That's what we do today because we cannot tame our shadow. So we gotta create the illusion that we have the shadow tamed. Just like society. Society is not tamed. That's why we have so much fucking crime. But we have the illusion that things are okay. But they're not really okay because people can't control their shadow. That's why people kill. People do things out of emotion. People get in their feelings and then say things they don't mean and do things that they later regret. That means that your shadow was not in control. You were not in control of your shadow. Especially when you allow people to get you out of your own character. Meaning, why would you even put yourself in an environment where people are trying to bring you out of your character? But people do it every day, all day, right? Then you are forced to do things that you wasn't really prepared to do. And now you got to deal with consequences that you wasn't prepared for. Now, your whole life is altered. All because you were unwilling to do the work yourself. Now other people has to bring it out of you. So that's a real reason why people have friends. That's the only way for them to deal with their shadow. Because we know friends even talk about each other behind each other's back. There's really no loyalty with that shit. Let's just be honest here. Just because you call a person a friend don't mean that they have true loyalty, that they're not speaking behind your back, that they agree with everything you do. They don't. They're just there filling up space. Most people are in most people's lives just filling up space. It's not a real purpose or reason why they're there. Again, it's a weakness. It's their refusal to deal with their own shadow. That's why they have to have a bunch of friends and a bunch of distractions. That's why people watch TV. That's why people are on TikTok all goddamn day. Because you don't have to deal with your shadow. If you have no TikTok, you have no friends, you stay off of social media, then all you have is yourself to deal with. And when all you have is yourself to deal with, this shit gets pretty spooky. Go to a graveyard by yourself and see how you feel. Go amongst the dead and see if they fuck with you. How many people wouldn't do that? Not many. If you really want to see if the dead fuck with you, go to the grave and be amongst them and see if they fuck with you or not. They will let you know. You don't think they will let you know? The graveyard is a magical place. We know that. If you're a necromancer, you already know that. We already know the power of the dead. You already know that. But most people don't. They ain't trying to go in the graveyard unless they're trying to visit one of their ancestors. But we're just talking about the energy as a whole. Go amongst the dead and see if they fuck with you. Are most people going to do that? No. But it seems to me in Kim, we honored the dead. That's why you bury them in sarcophagus, and their whole life story is in the sarcophagus. You got all the tools that they need to make their way to the next life. So you see, we honored the dead and we understood the afterlife. So you got everything you need to make it to the next chambers, right? But today, the most that people give to the dead is what? Flowers. The most that people, they may visit the graveyard, they may give a little flowers, they may give that, but they up out of there. May say a little prayer, but they ain't really about that shit. They ain't conducting no spells, they're not conducting no rituals. They're not taking the dirt from the graveyard because that dirt is magically charged. See? See, now I'm going to the science that most people, they're not ready for that shit. And you can tell because if you start talking like this amongst people, they start looking at you crazy. You ever been to the grave at night and collected the dust and put it in a cauldron? We don't realize that that's a necessary component to a cauldron, right? You need that dirt from the grave to even make that cauldron magical. Excuse me. This is powerful stuff. Excuse me. Most people ain't doing that type of work. Most people pay people to do that type of work, right? Most people be paying people to do spells and rituals and hexes and curses. That's why they pay money to do that, because they're not willing to get their hands dirty themselves. Like, go do the shit yourself. No, I can't do it. I'd rather pay you to do it. But the graveyard's right around the corner from your house. Oh, I'd rather pay you to do it. So you afraid to walk and get that shit at night? Well, it's closed at night. You don't know how to hop the fence? You think somebody gonna call the goddamn police because they see you walking around in the graveyard? See, it's just certain things that there's gonna always be an excuse for. I'm sure everybody is within distance to a graveyard, but how many people is actually putting that work in? Like, okay, I'm gonna hop that fence, I'm gonna get that dirt, and I'm out. You're technically breaking the law to do it, but are you breaking divine law doing that shit? You're breaking man's law. You're trespassing, but are you gonna go to jail for taking dirt from a graveyard? Probably not. Is that considered theft? Damn, they only found a bag of dirt. You about to go to jail for a bag of dirt? In their mind. But how many people are willing to encounter the police? I told y'all what happened when I did it. I told y'all what happened when I did it. It was a man and it was a woman. I was doing a full moon ritual. And then the woman was like, yo, I heard about that. I know what you're talking about. The woman and the man cop was like stunned. He was like, what the fuck? He was just so thrown off. He was like, yo, just don't do this in front of people. They may think you're crazy. And they didn't. And they walked the fuck off. Because I was able to touch the heart of the woman. She was like, yo, you're right. This is like, and this is a fucking cop trying to arrest my black ass. But I'm like, oh, they're like, wait a minute, you're actually on to something. Then the dude was like, of course it was a white man, and I think it was an Asian woman. It was an Asian woman like, yo, I know what you're talking about. So in Jamaica, we have graves in our backyards. Is that the same? Well, if it's considered a graveyard, then sure. And if you got several dead people in your backyard, then I guess that is technically a graveyard. If there's several people buried in the grave. But I would say go to the actual graveyard. But if you want to do spells and work, you can do it in the dirt in your backyard, sure. But I would say go to an actual graveyard. And then do the work in your backyard if that's what you choose to do. Right? Because again, I know it's not that far. Graves are everywhere. There's dead people all over this bitch. So it ain't too hard to find a graveyard, right? It ain't too hard to get that dirt, put it in a cauldron, and then you put your recipes together, right? What's up, mouth pocket packet? What's up? What's up? L fresh as hell. Salute to you. See, so you go back far. See, most people don't even know about that L fresh as hell, right? They don't even know about that. So you've been around for a hot minute if you even know about that. You already know, and that shit was done in L.A. Right? That was a song I did in L.A. and that was a time where I really had to cut my friends off. If y'all want the true story behind that, if y'all want the true story, that was the last time I fucked with my friends. You know what happened? I recorded that song. They were so stunned. They were like, yo, how the fuck you even do that shit? To the point where I couldn't even get my music from this motherfucker. Oh, I deleted the shit. It was some stupid ass. Like, you deleted the shit. I recorded like 2, 3 tracks. I only was able to get the L fresh as hell. Oh, the other tracks got deleted. I'm like, they got deleted. Like, yo, you hate motherfucker. The true nature of them was revealed that day after I did that. That's what I mean by when them spirits got up in you, it revealed the true characters of these so-called friends. I haven't fucked with them since. Right? That's the true story behind that. It was because I was interacting with that energy that the true nature was revealed. I'm thinking, motherfuckers is cool because I didn't know these people for 10 years. But nah, they did not have my best interest at heart. Like, oh, I'm not about to just let this dude succeed. So this is really, I'm like, yo, it's real shit, right? When people really see that you got the juice, when you doing something different, when you have an opportunity to really change things, they're gonna turn bitch on you. And that's just how the shit goes, right? That's why you only must depend on yourself. It was because of situations like that, I had to learn to do everything myself. That's when I began to make my own music. After that L Fresh as Hell, I began to make my own music. So I had to learn how to make my own music. I'm like, yo, this can't happen again. A motherfucker is not gonna hold my music hostage. Like, yo, I can't get my music, yo. Like, I paid for this shit. I can't get my shit. Then I promised myself I would never be in that situation again. So I had to learn. I'm like, I have to get the equipment and all that. Then I start producing my own shit. So I don't gotta worry about that shit no more. I had to learn how to do it myself. Now I do it myself. So all music that y'all hear, that y'all heard after that, I did it myself. So I had to go through the trials and tribulations of a new person making their own music. But I had to do it. I'm like, I can't be in this position again. Because now I'm being held back by, I'm like, yo, this is supposed to be the homies. How am I being held back by the homies? Because they ain't really the homies. Right? They ain't really the homies. Duh. D-A, homies. So I'm saying more than what I like. It's a double entendre, right? It's a double entendre. Do you have a service or class where I can learn my shadow side? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Just shoot me an email, ash@ashrenew.com, and then I'll give you a list. I'll give you a list so that way you ain't got to go on the website and look at everything. Because, of course, you can always go to the website and look at the readings. But just send me an email, and I'll do the hard work for you. So just an email away. So that's always the thing. And plus, you've been a member. You've been supporting. You support me all the time. So you definitely going to get a discount. Because, you know what I mean? That's why I say respect. It's always, when that money talk, the money talk. So you already know. So you already know I got you, right? And that's it is what it is, right? But as when you a supporter, then like you get that type of love, because I'm like, you showing me love on a monthly basis. So who am I to charge you full price? When you giving me straight from the heart, you don't have to give me a goddamn thing, but you do. So I'm like, yo, that's no problem, right? You know, no problem. That's how it should be, right? When you support your creator, I'm like, yo, give back, no problem. But you see, it's just certain things that people don't get. You would think that that's common sense, but it's not. You would think that's common sense, but no, it's not. But I just try to be as authentic as I can, right? Because I understand how important it is for us to be whole and complete. And that's why I'm giving you personal examples of certain things I had to go through in order to arrive at these conclusions. And it wasn't nice. I'm like, again, we're talking about people that you knew since you was a teenager, and now you can't fuck with them no more because of you saw it like, damn, you gonna hold me back like that? I can't fuck with you no more. So you gotta cut people off because of they're doing shit like that. Like, you can't fuck with people, right? And that's just you seeing their shadow. You reveal your shadow to them, but their shadow, like, your shadow was untamed, while mine was tamed, and I was able to use it constructively and put it into a musical form. It made your shadow into a hater. Because we know the biggest haters is the ones who are actually amongst you. It's not the ones who's all in different cities and different states and people who don't even know you. It's the people that actually do know you. So that's why they say you always got to keep a small circle if you have a circle at all. I can't really say I even have a circle. I don't have a circle other than 93. You see, our circle is invisible. That's because that's the way it got to be, right? And we understand that this world is not playing with us. We only got one shot here, and the last thing we want to do is waste time. So instead of wasting time trying to figure out why people are being fuck niggas, you just make yourself better and you learn the skills that you have to learn so that you don't have to fuck with people who are limited, right? So ever since then, and that's why I always say, you don't see nobody in my videos. Every time I present myself, you don't see me around a group of niggas. You don't see me around just women walking around, and like, it's never that situation. Because I had to reduce. I'm like, yo, you ain't supposed to even be around me. A lot of people get lonely, but you never hear me talking like that. Like, I'm lonely. I need people to fuck with me. No, no, no. I got all these dead niggas and these dead women that's giving me game 24/7, as it should be. The ancestors should stay on you. The ancestors should stay giving you game, but it's because you became the vessel for them to do that. You went through the initiations to open up your spirit body so that you can receive. It ain't just because I'm chosen or you're chosen or oh, this shit just happened. No, it don't. You have to be open to it. But because most people are trying to build a relationship with God, they're not building relationships with their ancestors. That's actually forbidden. If you're religious, like ancestors ain't even should not be. This is what I'm saying. Everything religious is everything forbidden to religion is everything we did originally. But when you understand how religion got on this planet, then you understand why certain things were made forbidden. Meaning all of the ancient cultures, the real shit was forbidden because that's where the power came from. Anything to make you more powerful was forbidden. So we gained our power through necromancy, through sorcery, all the things that's considered negative, astrology, numerology, Kabbalah, all these things that you're not even supposed to deal with. That's how we became powerful. That's how we're able to build pyramids and create wonders of the world as a reminder of what can be accomplished. That's all it's there for, as a reminder of what can be accomplished. You can master this physical plane if you master the spiritual plane, which is the astral plane, which is dreams. You must master your dreams. Most people have not mastered their dreams. Most people don't know how to lucid dream. They don't know how to do these things. They never had a lucid dream in their life. They don't know how to control their dreams. That's a whole nother world, I guarantee it. Like you will be amazed the type of shit that you have access to when you dream. It's unfucking believable. It seems otherworldly because it is otherworldly. So, but you got people standing in groups doing chants and shit. Like that's really gonna change something. Like, yo, what did you dream last night? I'm more interested in what the fuck a nigga or see, I'm trying to be civilized. I'm more interested in what a man or a woman dreams about. Like, that's a question that is really important. But how many people are asking you, what do you dream about? How many people, even amongst your fucking friends, how many people have asked you, what do you dream about? How often are you asked that question? Probably not at all. But that really reveals who a person is because we know dreams must be interpreted. So you must become a dream interpreter of your own dreams first. Then you ask other people, what do you dream about? You can help them to understand themselves. Oh, I dream about this. I dream about snakes, and I be seeing wheels of fortune. I be seeing a bunch of shit. I don't know. I don't know what this shit means. But you do. I'm like, okay, that means this, and this. They're like, what? Mm-hmm. Because you know. Because you are a dreamer. You know the science of dreaming. And through the science of dreaming, you can gain access to hidden knowledge and wisdom that you otherwise would no book can teach you, no man or no woman can teach you. You only can get it from the dead. You can only get it from your ancestors. You can only get it from the gods and goddesses. There's certain knowledge that you can't get it from this world. You got to get it from the other world or the underworld, right? That's how I've been able to reveal things that have never been said before. I've said things on this channel that have never been said before. I presented ideas that are completely original. It's never came out the mouth of another man because I had to go into the dungeon to get this shit, right? I had to, and I continue to do it. That's why I continue to show up, right? That's why you see I don't sound like nobody else. Like, people be comparing me to new niggas. Like, when I be talking, they're like, oh, you sound like 19 Keys. I'm like, oh, that's a new nigga. Like, he wasn't around when I was around. So, like, when I talk, people be comparing me to newer people, not knowing that I was around before them. I was on this same type of time before your favorite teachers, right? Other than the elders. I'm not talking about the elders. But all these new school teachers, I'm like, I was around. They probably know who I am. Again, they would never speak on it because, again, I've been around the whole time. But again, that's neither here nor there, right? But again, I'm just saying that because a person actually told me that. They're like, yo, you actually remind me of this guy. And I'm like, I know who this guy is, but I've never watched a video, but I know who he is. But I only know who he is for over some bullshit. Meaning, like some scamming shit. Like when I was looking up 19 Keys, he was associated with with a whole fraudulent activity, and people were investing money. And I'm like, "Ugh, I don't even know about the actual knowledge that came out of his mouth because when I research, the bullshit comes up. So I'm like, I can't really fuck with it. You know, like if I try to research a person and it's a bunch of bullshit attached to their name, I'm like, I can't even I don't even want to listen to what this person says. I'm like, yo, if you ain't mastered your shadow, I'm like, why would I listen to anything you got to say? When your name is attached to bullshit. What's up, Dank Wizard? All right. And that's what I mean by, a lot of teachers is it's like you can't even look these people up without somebody trying to expose them or somebody saying that they're associated with some bullshit. So like that's why I can't even listen to a lot of teachers. Like if your name is tied to bullshit, it's over with. At least for me, I'm like, yo, there's especially if my name is not tied to no bullshit. Why would I associate with a person whose name is tied to bullshit and my name is not attached to bullshit? That just makes me a part of the bullshit. Because if I'm fucking with him, what is it, guilty by association? That's why you don't ever see me with other spiritual teachers, and I'm not trying to do content with nobody else. I'm like, yo, your name ain't clean. If your name is not clean, I'm like, I can't fuck with you, right? And that's why they don't fuck with me either. I'm like, there ain't no dirt on this nigga's name. You can't find the shit on me. So I'm like, wow, I can't even do business with this person or with anybody who got bullshit attached to their name. Not when I've been working hard for 10 years to keep my reputation clean. I'm not about to work with a dirty ass reputation. I didn't work my way up this far to just for it to come down because of somebody else's actions. If I fall, it's gonna be due to my own actions. It's not gonna be because I connected with somebody else and now I'm in some bullshit that don't have nothing to do with me. I'm like, I have no intention of doing that, right? But that's why I'm still here because I don't associate with other motherfuckers. That's why I'm still here because again, this all I don't care to do any of that because I see the type of time that other people are on. Meaning they just trying to get the bag. They don't care who they scamming. They just trying to get the money by any means. They still got a street mentality. I'm like, all right. But even they talk spiritual wisdom, but they still their mentality is still in the streets, and that's essentially why people want to expose them or reveal what's really going on behind the scenes because they're really into the fuck shit. So that's why like I don't even listen to other spiritual people. I'm like, it's why do all these people got bullshit attached to their name? Right? And it is just a bunch of people making shit up. I don't think so, because people would be coming with fucking receipts. I'm not gonna believe something because somebody said it, but then when they come with the receipts, when they're showing emails, when they're showing text messages, when they show that they're sending money to this person, and then they're not getting what they, I'm like, damn, you brought receipts. How can I not believe you now? Because let a motherfucker bring some receipts of what I did, and it's gonna be a problem. But where you don't see shit like that. Can't nobody bring up no receipts like, oh, yo, I paid for this and I didn't get it. Yes, you did. Yes, the fuck you did. Every single service I've been paid for, it has been rendered every time for 10 years straight. 10 years straight. I ain't scammed nobody. I wonder why. You would think that this is common sense. You probably shouldn't do people wrong, or they're probably going to let other people know that you're doing them wrong. You probably shouldn't do that. Word of mouth travels faster than anything else. So when people start mouthing your name and saying your reputation is not solid, it's going to be a problem. You're going to begin to lose money, and the people will begin to lose faith in you, and then we see what happens as a result. Right? Again, we saw the Brother Polites, we saw the Young Pharaohs, the Rashad Jamals, the Nature Boys, and a bunch of other people that I don't even know about. Because these are just names I know, but I know it's way more than that, right? It is going to catch up to you if you fucking people over. So I just promised myself I would never do that. I actually want to give more than what people pay for. That's what I want to do. I want to give you more. So instead of giving you less, I want to give you more. So that's just always been, because again, what is that? Was that not in Think and Grow Rich? Everybody claimed they read the book. Does it not say give more than what people pay for? I thought that was a law to get the real money. I thought that's just a book that everybody reads. That's the Bible to get money. But clearly people are not applying these laws. But they want to associate themselves with the real game, but they're not willing to do or go above and beyond for the people. I always go above and beyond. Did I not just give y'all a 5 hour live stream yesterday for nothing? All right then. That's me going above. Like I just gave y'all 5 fucking hours and don't need anything in return. Right? But how many people is willing to do that? You gotta pay these people just to even interact with them. Anybody can ask me a question right now, I'm gonna answer it. Right? I open myself up to 93. Fuck the world, I open myself up to 93. Right? So if you are 93, you have me, right? You always have access to me at any time. In dreams or otherwise, you always have access to me. All right? So I done heard so many people like, yo, I dreamed about you. There's been so many people that told me they dreamed about me, but it's always like I'm always giving them game. They're like, yo, you was telling me something, you was teaching me something, you was showing me this, you was showing me that. It was never a situation where it was negative. Like, damn, I dreamed about you and it was some bullshit. I was like, yo, they may not even remember what I was trying to reveal to them. Like, yo, you was revealing this, you were trying to say this. Like, I don't remember, but like, it's like I'm a fucking archangel type shit, right? But again, I did come in the name of Raziel. So that's what I mean by is we operate in multiple dimensions as we should. We are multi-dimensional beings, so we operate in multiple dimensions. We have to. So when you only operate in 3D, you limit yourself. So that's why people only when you only care about money, you're stuck in 3D. That's just the reality. That's the truth. So a lot of these people, they may talk high science, but then their deeds catch up to them. Like, oh, you talk a high science, but you're actually caught in 3D. You haven't tamed your shadow. And then it will be revealed. The people will reveal your shadow to you because you're not revealing your shadow to yourself. Unfortunately, your shadow has to be revealed by other people, telling about what you're doing behind the scenes. Because you just need people around you. And you haven't tamed your demons, so now you're allowing your demons to be seen by other people. Like, to me, none of this shit makes sense, but people are doing this shit every day. I'm like, yo, how are you allowing other people to witness your demons and they're not tamed, thinking that they're gonna keep these secrets? You think they're gonna be loyal to you? They're not. It's called human nature. Like, yo, this motherfucker is really doing some shit they ain't supposed to be doing. They're not gonna hold their tongue about that. Especially if they like, yo, they don't agree with it. If they don't agree with it, no, they're not holding their tongue. But how do you allow people to be amongst you when you're not righteous? I'm like they're not gonna tell the world about what the fuck is really going on. Has that not happened the whole time? But if you tame your demons and you accept your dark side, you accept your darker nature, you accept the taboo and the forbidden nature, but that's Pluto. So while most people are stuck in the number one, we talk about the number zero, we talk about the none. That's a taboo, that's forbidden. Accept it or not. Because there's a consequence if you don't. Because other people will observe it and they will reveal it to you. And then now it's out in the public. Now your reputation is stained. Now you got to deal with all this extra shit. But again, you're not going to see me dealing with that extra shit. Because I'm like, yo, I tame the shadows. It's not, I'm like, why would I reveal it to anybody else? Except through 93. Because I understand y'all are on the same journey. So I'm like, let me tell you about what I've been through to inspire you to like, okay, I understand why I have to do this. Right? It's something that's necessary to conduct if you consider yourself a magus. See, most people are magicians, but I teach you how to be a magus. That's the difference, right? Because a magician can be a scammer, a trickster, and that's why most people find it hard to separate it. But Crowley separated. That's why he called the magician a magus, to separate from the bullshit. So most people are still on magician time, aka scammer time, aka I'm just about to create this persona just to reap resources. That's magician shit. That's why Crowley, yo, we're not magicians, we are the magus. That's why it was necessary to make certain changes in the tarot. And again, you begin to understand all this the deeper you go into the science. So it's because I just keep going deeper and deeper into the science. I'm like, I see why changes were made, why certain things had to be changed, the orders and all this stuff, so on and so forth. That's why Western occultism came from Crowley. That's why I know you are not a true occultist if you have not studied Crowley, because he laid the foundation of Western occultism. There would be no Western occultism without the works of Crowley. He laid the foundation. Now, of course, people came after that, but he laid the foundation in terms of that's why it's dark and sinister, because it came from this dark ass motherfucker who was not afraid of his shadow. If you look at the life of Aleister Crowley, you see a person that's not afraid of their shadow, doing some shit that most people probably don't agree with. However, it wasn't a secret. This was absolutely necessary. That's how he was able to leave behind all this literature for us to study, because he was doing a bunch of forbidden taboo shit. But he did it in a constructive way. Here is the literature, here are the channels. He documented it all, which is what we should be doing here. So the shadow was dark, it's sinister, but it can be used constructively. That's the whole science of the jinn. The jinn will fuck some shit up. But if you keep them tamed, you can reverse the nature and make it constructive. That's why we can work with demons, we can work with jinns, we can work with spirits. It's not because they're good or bad, it's because there's a way to be constructive. That's the whole story of Solomon, King Solomon, who worked with the jinn and they built Solomon's temple, letting you know that even the jinn can be used constructively if you know how to tame them. And you're not going to be able to tame no jinn if you haven't tamed your own shadow, because your own shadow is your own Corrine. Your Corrine is your personal jinn. Everybody has a Corrine. Again, this is Islamic science. So your jinn is with you at all times. So when I say shadow, I'm really talking about the Quran, but I know everybody is not Islamic. Everybody doesn't have an Islamic background, so everybody don't know about the Quran. But shadow alchemy is you taming your own Quran. That's what it is. You change the nature of your own jinn. Jinn can be positive or negative. That's what makes them different from demons. Demons are automatically assumed to be negative. Jinn can be positive or negative depending on the person, depending on you. You make your Quran positive or negative. You can tame it or let it run out of control is based on you. But most people don't even know who their Quran is, even though I can reveal it to you. That's why I have Goetic readings, to reveal which of the 72 Goetic spirits is attached to you, that you have to deal with, that you have to feed, really. That jinn must be fed with darkness. And then from that darkness, light can come from it through transmutation. That's the whole science of Tantra. That's the tantric science. You're using the sexual energy, not just because you just want to bust off, not because it feels good, because this is how you transmute earthly energy into spiritual energy or astral energy, celestial energy. You transmute earthly energy to celestial energy, and then you become aware of the stars, which we call enlightenment. Enlightenment means awareness of the stars. So tell me who else told you that. Enlightenment is awareness of the stars. Did I not simplify enlightenment? So let everybody else make this confusing as what enlightenment means. No, awareness of the stars. You become enlightened because you're like, oh, you can perceive the stars and their attributes and their natures. You become fascinated with the stars. We call it the fixed stars. in astrology. That's why Western astrology doesn't even deal with the fixed stars because they're not enlightened. But when you go to Eastern astrology, they're dealing with the fixed stars. But somehow when we come over here, we feel like that was not necessary because we're not enlightened until you go into Crowley, right? AKA 93. Meaning if you're not on 93 time and Crowley laid down the whole foundation of Western occultism, how can you consider yourself enlightened? What are the examples to feed the Korean? Through the taboo, through the forbidden. So you had to find what science are you drawn to? Which forbidden science are you drawn to? Some people are drawn to Tantra or Tantra, the Tantric sciences. Some people are drawn to that. Again, some people are drawn to necromancy. Some people are drawn to sorcery, right? You had to like which science that's forbidden, that's taboo. So you can even throw in astrology, numerology, all the shit that most people. Give me a second. Give me a second here. I'll be right back. Hold on. So you have to tap into your forbidden nature, your taboo nature. How do you know what that is? You have to study your Pluto sign, which would most people neglect. Like I said, most people know their sun sign, but if you ask, well, what is your Pluto sign? Because that's your portal to the underworld. It's through Pluto. Pluto reveals to you which, depending on what zodiac sign and what house Pluto was in, that really tells you everything right there. You study Pluto. What's the zodiac sign? Then what's the house? That lets you know right there where you should direct that forbidden energy. Okay, it's in the sixth house, it's in the fifth house, it's in the fourth house, it's in Libra, it's in Scorpio, it's in Aries. That really reveals to you what you should be doing. You got to go through Pluto. You got to study Pluto, right? The very thing that most people neglect. They don't know nothing about it. So that's how you get a transmutation or an idea of how you should travel with the shadow, with the darkness, with your Korean. So your Korean essentially you have to tame it, meaning that you can say it's destructive by nature, but you can make it non-destructive by feeding it, just embracing who you actually are because it's already a part of you. So you can deny it, you can neglect it, but it's always going to be a part of you. It's up to you to decide whether it's something that you don't deal with, because this is what most people are really dealing with. That's why people try to develop a relationship with God, aka the sun, because they're trying to get away from the zero, aka Pluto. So that's what most people do. They try to get away from Pluto through the sun. God, 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 God. They have a relationship with God, but they don't know nothing about their devil. How many people you say, oh, I got a good relationship with the devil? You ain't gonna never hear that shit. Come on now. It's always, yeah, I got a good relationship with God, 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 I'm righteous. But you don't know the devil though. Meaning you don't know your real self. You don't know yourself, meaning how you need to transmute dark energy into light energy. You can only know that by knowing your devils, knowing your jinns. That reveals you like, oh, okay. This is how I need to do it. Not how the next person needs to do it. This is how I should go about it. That's what I mean. You have to study your own degrees. You have to study yourself. You have to have knowledge of self. Everything is revealed in that chart. In that natal chart, astrology chart, through the tarot, everything is always revealed. The tarot just illustrates it, right? So that's why Pluto is not really talked about. Pluto will never really be talked about, right? You can develop a whole school of Pluto just because people neglect it. But it reveals so much because Pluto is about transformation. So in order for you to transform or transmute energy, you have to go through Pluto, the very planet that people don't even consider a planet anymore. Well, Pluto is the only thing that's going to help you transmute the dark to the light. Through Pluto, you become enlightened, not through the sun. The sun is already reflecting light. You need to deal with the planet that's reflecting darkness. But again, that's not an easy thing to do. Pluto is a very intense, powerful energy. It's not easy to do. Again, we're talking about Jinn. We're talking about some powerful shit. It's going to change you when you like, damn, this is a part of me. Like, it's not easy to accept. It may be things about you like, yo, shit, I don't need to reveal this to nobody. Maybe you shouldn't. But you know what you need to do, and it ain't for nobody else to know about. That's Pluto. Pluto is the hidden world, the hidden reality. It's only for you because it may not be accepted by anybody but you. But again, I'm just one of the people that puts it out there, right? So that's why you will hear me talking about pornography and shit, right? I almost fucking be doing pornos. That's just me revealing it, but don't expect people to reveal their shadow. But that's just so when I be talking crazy, that's just me revealing mine. But don't expect people to reveal that shit to you, right? So when I say things like, I'm like, how the fuck do I get more views from swinging my goddamn dick around than speaking this game? I can wave my goddamn dick around, get 10,000, 40,000, 50,000 views. But when I'm talking that real shit, I'm only getting a couple hundred. That's my shadow. Like, how you gonna deal with that? What are you gonna do with that? The shadow, like, yo, you see what's going on? What you gonna do about it? You can see, okay, you take this route, you're gonna get this result. You take this right, you're gonna get this result. Meaning, all that showed me was I'm capable of doing massive numbers on the internet. It just has to go through Pluto. If I want massive numbers and the fame and the success and the fortune that other people may get on YouTube, like I'm too forbidden for YouTube. Really, I'm just going to be honest, right? That's why I got to accept that I'm not going to get paid from YouTube. YouTube is not going to give me the fame, at least this channel. I got to do some other shit, right? ASMR and that the softer shit. But that harder shit, my true nature as a Plutonian, I understand like, yo, you gotta go into those darker forbidden worlds if you really want that. OnlyFans. I gotta make OnlyFans type shit. But you see, I can accept that. I don't know about anybody else. I'm like, oh, that is the truth. It's just the fucking truth. I'm like, damn, I'm just waving my damn dick around. 50,000 people watch this shit. What's the big fucking deal? Well, clearly Pluto has an influence in this. It's all about what are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna tame these shadows? Are you gonna tame these demons? Or is gonna always be something in the background and you just kind of know like, okay, yeah, I could have went that route, but you never did. It just that's what it is. That's why women become prostitutes. That's them accepting their taboo nature. Like, yeah, I always been this way. I just accept it now. And I'm just using examples. That's why people do darkness, all type of dark activities. That's just them accepting. Like, yo, this is me. It's up to me whether I accept it or not, right? And it's always going to be, but it's always going to be there. That's basically what I'm saying. It's going to always be there. It's going to always be in the background. It's going to always be in the unconscious mind. It's up to you whether you do something about it and make it constructive, right? So when I say I don't really be around women like that, I'm not, fucking off my sexual energy. It's because I understand. I'm like, yo, it's for me to use that constructively, aka put a camera to it. But I'm like, people fuck every day. People have sex every day, but everybody ain't got a camera. But I'm like, damn, I wasn't even having sex. What I did with the porn was just me. It's just me fucking just loving myself. It ain't even there's no women around. It's just me. So I'm just giving you an example. I'm not saying that this is nobody else's path. I'm like, yo, I uploaded some shit and this shit got 50,000 views. I'm like, do you know how much I would have to do to get 50,000 views on YouTube? You know how much bullshit I would have to do that? I would have to be talking about other people. I would have to be doing some crazy shit. But because I that tantric shit, fucking got the shit with no effort. The same way, women could be twerking and shaking ass and getting 50, 500,000 views for just shaking ass. I'm like, I can understand why women is looking at it like, maybe I should make an OnlyFans. Forgot twerking this shit got 500,000 views. Maybe there's something to this. Now you then have to make the decision if that's something you want to pursue or bury. Just as an example, right? So that's what I mean by it changes you because you are no longer the same when you make that decision. Like when you decide to be, let's just say, a porn star or a prostitute, escort, whatever you want to put on it, you're no longer the same because now you're using the energy of the shadow constructively, meaning you're now is paying your bills. Imagine that. Imagine your bills are paid from your shadow versus your sun, which is most people. They have to go get careers. They got to bust their ass. They got to take orders, and you just got to go in your goddamn bathroom and hit the record button. You ain't got to do none of this shit because you're going through Pluto. That's why most people they're not willing to do that. But that's a possibility when you understand, like, oh shit, the numbers don't lie, right? Numbers don't lie. When you see, like, yo, I'm able to do some real numbers, but I gotta do some forbidden taboo shit. Are you gonna go through the sun or are you gonna go through Pluto? Right? So everything I be talking about when I be talking about the job and now I got rank and all that, that's the sun. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I care about it, but not really. Because I know that okay, it may take me 10 years at this current job to make what I would make off of fucking OnlyFans. And I can do that shit instantaneously. I understand that. Like, how much do you really know yourself and how much are you willing to accept your own darkness? And realizing that that's going to put you in position to do some real shit. Imagine that. Imagine you just being tantric and that actually becomes the key to life. That's the skeleton key. Your skeleton key is through Pluto, it's not through the sun. So again, everybody's trying to develop their ego, trying to develop their status quo, trying to be in the light. Because God is the light, right? Everybody's moving towards the light. When I'm saying, okay, yeah, you got to actually go through the darkness. The light comes from the dark. But nobody wants to deal with the dark. They just want to deal with the light that's already manifested. And that's how they get caught up in illusion because you're just dealing with light that's already manifested. But now I'm telling you to deal with the unmanifest. Deal with the light before it manifests. Now you have control over the result. You see how that works? You don't have control over the light that's already manifested, but you have control over the darkness that transforms into light. That's the energy of Pluto. That's why Pluto represents transformation. Because, like, yo, you're actually transmuting darkness into light. But you're using your own sexual currency. You're using your own tantric energy to achieve enlightenment instead of going to church or going to the synagogue, going to the mosque. You're using religion. You're not doing none of that. You're going straight to the tantric science. And I keep saying tantric because it's forbidden. You can't go to India now and learn about tantra. They're like, yo, we don't want nothing to do with that. So that ain't even something that the people over there accept. They don't accept that. That's forbidden. That's the same way that we don't like gang culture over here in America. That's how they feel about the tantric culture. That ain't mainstream. That ain't something that they putting out in the forefront. They want to pretend like that shit never happened, but they want to take the science and what came from it, but they don't want to accept that. So they're not pushing the tantric science on people. We're more tantric over here in the West than they are, and they invented the shit. How that happened? We're more accepting of Tantra than they are, and they created it. But they don't want nothing to do with it because they want to change their reputation. They want to be of the light, not realizing that there would be no light without the darkness. So that's why they don't advance. Meaning we're not finding no new sciences coming from the East. All the sciences that we know about the East, they already knew that stuff. What's the new sciences coming from the East? It's not because they're not embracing the Tantra. They're not embracing the Tantric. For us, when you say, well, what's the new shit? Well, it seems to me like a bunch of gang members are making the music that the world is bobbing to. It's coming from dark souls, not light souls, dark souls. It's dark souls, aka hip hop souls, that's running this goddamn bitch. It ain't nobody else. And of course, people listen to all music, but this hip hop shit is more powerful than any other music. And the numbers show that. I ain't talking. The numbers show that hip hop is doing more numbers than any other music genre. We just the combined numbers of hip hop versus the combined numbers of all of the music. Hip hop is number one, and it's been that way for quite some time. It's the dark artists that's making this shit pop, not the light people that's just talking about the bullshit. And that's why I was saying I don't even listen to that music. I only listen to that potency. I don't be listening to nothing else really other than hip hop, because there's many different forms of it. So, but I understand the potency. But you see, you got to go into the dark. It take people like me to make real hip hop. People like you to make real hip hop. You can't just be a regular person and you make hip hop that the world bobs to. That's not going to happen. You have to accept your shadow. You have to accept your darkness. You have to be plutonic. You have to be a plutonian. You have to understand the power you truly have and how to tame that power and not destroy yourself. It ain't about destroying nobody else. You have to not destroy yourself, which is very hard to do, especially when you know the power you have. It's hard to not eat yourself alive. That's why it's forbidden. You will eat yourself alive if you're not careful. That's why most people stay away from it. Like, am I really trying to take that risk? Not really. So that's why most people stay away from it, because you will eat yourself alive if you don't understand that the energy needs to be transmuted. The darkness can't just stay dark. The dark needs to be transmuted into the light. And when you transmute that darkness into light, then it makes sense as this is the only place that the light will come from. All right? But that's alchemy. So Pluto is just revealing alchemy. So if we're talking about transformation, transformation is alchemy. That's the whole science of alchemy. Well, the alchemist of the zodiac, or not the zodiac, but the planets, is Pluto. No other planet deals with transformation from nothing to something. So we're talking about going from nothing to something. That's through Pluto, the very planet that most people don't even acknowledge at this point. Meaning the only planet that really had real power for you has been demoted. That's the planet that gave all the power, though. How do we know? Pluto means wealth. Plutos means wealth. So how the fuck is it not gonna come through Pluto? What other planet represents wealth? It represents money. There's planets that represent money, but the planet of wealth is Plutos. Literally, that's what the word means. Plutos, the word means wealth. But how many times do you hear people talk about Pluto is a god of wealth? You're gonna hear Pluto is about transformation. It's about intensity. It's about the taboo, the forbidden, but they don't be talking about wealth, because that's actually how you achieve wealth. You got to go through the transformation. You got to go through the taboo. You got to go through the forbidden. You got to go through the occult. Those are all attributes of Pluto. That's how you generate wealth. Wealth is generated by the invisible forces, not the visible forces. But you're not really hearing people talk about that. Rarely, if you like, oh, Pluto is a god of wealth. Well, that's what actually the word means. But they go into that other shit. Why? Because they really ain't fucking with Pluto. They're not gonna reveal that to you. So if you want wealth, not money, not riches, we're talking about true wealth. You will get it through Pluto. Not the sun, not the one, the zero. But are you willing to transmute that darkness into light? Are you willing to accept the darkness within yourself? Like, damn, I'm into some real wicked ass shit. Are you willing to deal with that? Meaning even hip hop. Some people just like killing. Some people are killers. Some people were drug dealers. Some people getting prostitutes, escorts, all that. Are you willing to accept that you just enjoy doing some shit like that? If that's what you into, that gives you life. Most people ain't willing. Like they're trying to get away from it, right? So, but that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be something that's known. It's not supposed to be seen. It's not supposed to be obvious. So that's why I wear the Medusa head. It's constantly a reminder. You need to tame that. 'Cause isn't the story of Medusa, when her head got cut off by Perseus, he still used the head as a shield, protection, he was still using the power of the head. That's why you see Medusa's head. You don't see the body, you just see the head. It represents the demon head that was cut off by Perseus, but it still had power. Just like Rahu, if we take it to the Vedic science, Rahu's head was cut off, but the head was immortal. So the head still had power. This is what this is really conveying, the power that remains in the head, right? Without the body, because the body is called Ketu. So the body is Ketu, but the head is Rahu. Rahu is about worldly ambitions. Ketu is about you going into your unconscious mind, developing your spirituality. It's two different energies, right? They had to be separated. The head had to be separated from the body, right? So you see, it's all backed by science. I'm not just doing shit just to do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm rocking the demon head because that's me as a symbolic science to my subconscious. I'm using my demonic powers or my forbidden powers constructively. That's the energy that I radiate. So that's why I chose the Medusa head instead of a different symbol. I'm like, that's the energy that I'm always projecting. I know I have to go into the darkness to produce light. So that's just, I'm like, all right, cool, why not? And Alglo, again, is the most demonic, the most wickedest star in the whole universe is Alglo, which is the demon head, the demon star. That's the most wickedest. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's me all day. I'm not just going to work with a dark energy. I need to work with the darkest energy. That's my mentality. I'm like, oh, everything else in dark. Oh, this is the wickedest energy? I need that. I need that. So that's why I rock that symbol. I'm like, oh, that's the wickedest shit? Yep, I need that. I need that. Let me see. Right. Let me see. So now you can see the actual symbol, right? So this is the box it came in. I'm just showing you that symbol. Right? See that Medusa head? There you go. That demon star. See, this is what I'm saying. People don't even know why they like designer shit. They don't even know that this is connecting you to the stars. They don't even know that. Right? Like, oh, I would never wear that. Like, okay. Because you're scared to tame your shadow. I have to tame this. Meaning, like, this ain't no shit that you just get to fucking wear. That's why most people don't like, oh, I would never wear this shit. I'm not spending all that money on no frames. I'm not spending all that on no clothes, no shoes. They feel like that's a waste of money. They don't know the science, though. So to them, it is a waste of money because you're not using it right any goddamn way. That's why it costs for this shit, because this is real magic. That's why it costs. Anything real is gonna cost. Even the magical herbs. It's certain magical herbs that are very expensive. For you to do some real magic, you need certain herbs and plants and all that. That's very expensive. Most people are not willing to pay. Most people ain't willing to pay for it because it's very expensive. But that's the real alchemy, though. Real alchemy, real magic is costly. So you gotta have some resources. There's no way around it. You gotta be willing to spend some money, depending on how you want to work your alchemy, how you want to work your magic. You gotta be willing to spend your money on some exclusive shit. And people will do that in different ways. Again, some people do it with their clothing, some people do it with their shoes, some people do it with the eyewear, some people do it with the hats, whatever. And some people do it in the comfort of their own home, so on and so forth, right? So that's what I mean by most people are not ready for real alchemy. They're not ready for real magic because they don't even see a point of investing in magical qualities. So that's why when I put these on or put the other ones on, because I got the other ones right here, right? So that's the other pair that I was wearing yesterday, right? But you see, I'm like, I ain't wearing nothing else. You're not gonna see me with no Tiffany's. You're not gonna see me with no Coach, right? You're not gonna see me with no other. I'm like, yo, you gonna see the demon star, because that's the type of energy, that's the type of time I'm on, right? So that's why I rock the symbol. For my own subconscious, it's nothing to do with anybody else because they don't know that. So the public doesn't know that. So the only energy that's really affecting is my own. So other people may look at this, oh, they look nice, but they don't know why I'm wearing the shit. It's just something nice to them, but to me, I'm like, this is me summoning the energy of Alglo. This is me summoning the energy of Medusa. This is me turning the darkness into light. This is me separating the worldly ambitions from the spiritual ambitions. I know that this is two separate worlds. I have to go about it in two separate ways. So this is just a reminder to my own subconscious. Now, are most people doing that shit? No, people just buying shit because it look nice. But again, I'm just saying that's not how I work it, right? There's always a reason. But that's why I say I have to be the example. Let me show and prove that, right? Let me, I might as well just play the fucking Versace song. Why not? Give me a second. Where is it? Why not? Why not? Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, so let me play these Migos real quick. One second. All right. So we already know what's up. What's up, Steps to Glory? Steps to Glory? What's good with you? Okay, it ain't got to be that goddamn loud. All right. So, why do you think hip hop is always talking about designer shit? You think it's just, oh, we're just gonna spend money because we got the money to spend? That's probably most. But real occultists know better. Real occultists know better. You're tapping into certain stars. Remember, enlightenment means awareness of the stars. So each designer is aligned with a certain star constellation. It's just for you to know which star constellation it is through study, through realization, right? Hold on, hold on. You have to know. Okay, give me a second here. So even what I just revealed, do you think the average person wearing Versace knows that? No, they don't. So that's why when they wear it, it's just some shit they spend money on. They're not activating Medusa for real. Because that ain't even a name. That's a Greek name. You gotta go to the Arabic Alglo. Because Alglo means demon star. Right? So I'm just letting y'all know how real this shit is by being the example, right? That's why I'm showing you like I'm wearing it instead of talking about it. I'm showing you like I'm spending money on that, right? I'm investing into it instead of me talking about it. Let me show you what I'm investing in because I know what the fuck is going on here. The story of Medusa, the story of Rahu. This is real shit. These are qualities that we all have within ourselves. Meaning, Alglo is in your chart. Now, can you go to a regular astrologer to know what Alglo is in? No. But if you got advanced software, you can know, like, Alglo is already in your chart. Where is it in your chart and how is it utilized in your life? You will have to have some advanced software to even figure that out. The average person don't know that. You're not going to be able to get that for free, basically. Like, people have, like, there's websites that give you like free natal charts, free birth charts. You don't got to pay nothing. But you got to pay for that. You're not going to get that for free. I guarantee it. You're not going to get that for free. Because some things you actually have to pay for. That advanced shit you have to pay for. That basic shit you can get for free. That's why if you go on my website, you look at all my astrology readings, all that shit is advanced shit that you're just not going to, you can't get that shit on free websites. But I'm like, why offer services to people that they can get for free? All right, sorry about that. So I was saying that's why it's not cheap. That's what, because it's exclusive shit. You're not going to be able to get it for free. So that's why it doesn't matter to me like how often people get charts and readings. Because I'm like, yeah, this shit, like my prices are not cheap. But I'm not going to lower the prices because I know you ain't gonna, you can't get it from nowhere else. So if you want it, you got to get it from here. Till then, stick with the basic shit. Master the basic, and then you have a better appreciation for the advance, right? So whatever you can get for free, get it, master it. Then you go into advanced chambers when you understand the worth of it, right? So everything I just said, Alglow, Demon Star, is already in your chart. But where it's in your chart, again, you're gonna have to use some advanced software. Either pay an astrologer or pay for some software. And then figure out how to use the software and find out for yourself or pay somebody to find out for you, right? That's the only way you're gonna find out. Then you can really implement it in real life. Once you know what constellation you're connected with, or the constellation that you choose to summon, then you know, okay, well, where is that in my chart? So how can I utilize that in the best? Because it's already there. Again, that's the science of the fixed stars. Over here in the West, we don't care too much about that, but I'm showing you why you should care. Because when you decide, I want to align myself with this star, you locate it in your chart and you see, okay, what's the best way to activate it? Because it's already there. Everything is already within, right? We always say that it's already inside you. It's about you doing what's necessary to wake that energy up. So that's why when I wear these, it's just me waking up that energy that's already present in my chart. This is just me waking it up. This is just a symbol to the subconscious. Not about anybody else's opinion, whether they like it or dislike it. It's on my goddamn face, not theirs, right? I got to tame these energies, not them. I got to rock the Medusa head, not them, right? Everybody got their specialty, right? Some people like the Gucci, some people like the Ray-Bans, again, the Chanel, the Coach, the Tiffany's. Everybody's going to have their preference. And there's a reason why you like one energy over another. You may not know it on the surface level, but it's a deeper, like, oh, that's why you're drawn to certain brands and you don't care about other brands. It's because the energy that they represent that's affecting your subconscious is sparking something within you. But you may not know what it is just yet. It will take a little time to study, but when you implement it into your magic, this is just astrological celestial magic. You got high magic, you got low magic. This is called high magic, celestial magic. You're implementing the fixed stars into your alchemy now. That's high magic. Now it's celestial versus earthly magic. You're just utilizing the earthly resources and the earthly tools. All right? Low magic, high magic. And I remember arguing with somebody before over those terms. I had a whole fucking argument. Like, I'm into high magic, you're into low magic. And they didn't like that. They felt like I was just demeaning them when I said that. They feel like, oh, I'm saying like I'm higher than you and you're lesser. That's how I know people are just not ready to even comprehend this shit. Because I fucking had a whole argument. They were like, yo, you trying to demean me? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Low magic is earth magic. There's nothing demeaning about the earth, right? It's actually a blessing to understand how the earth works. But anyway, that's why people had to get cut off. Who has time for that shit? To try to explain what you claim to already know about. Because again, this was a so-called spiritual person. This wasn't just a random person I walked up to. All right, let's try this again. Okay. There we go. There we go. So unless anybody has any questions, we can get up out of here. You know, we don't have to be up. We don't have to be up on here all day. I just wanted to basically complete what I wasn't able to say yesterday because I got cut off by YouTube. YouTube just cut the whole fucking live stream. I got exited out of the whole app and everything. I'm like, yo, but I was saying some shit. I'm not gonna lie. I was saying some crazy shit yesterday. So I'm not. I get it. Motherfucker, like, yo, stop this nigga. Stop this motherfucker. I understand. That's why I say I'm too forbidden. I'm too taboo for YouTube. YouTube be putting all type of roadblocks on my up. But you know, all that does is push me to other websites. So at this point, I can care less. Right now, I can fucking swing my dick around and don't give a fuck. I'm like, oh, well, it is what it is, right? So that's why I say I can care less. I can't care that much. Otherwise, I would be in my feelings. Oh, why is YouTube doing this? Who gives a fuck? I don't care why they do it. Right? There's other sites and there's money all over the internet. Who gives a fuck? YouTube does not have to fuck with me. It does not matter. It's not stopping a goddamn thing. Right? But that you have that mentality when you are in tune with your shadow. Like, okay, if I don't get it over here, I'm gonna get it over there. But I'm gonna get it regardless. Right? So who gives a fuck? So that's why I have this mentality. That's why I have this attitude. I'm like, I can care less. But a lot of people want YouTube to fuck with them. That's why they try to make content friendly shit. They gotta go through all these loops and hoops. You see, I don't do none of that shit. I just come on here, say, just speak from the heart, and I get the fuck on. And if people don't like it, fuck it. If YouTube don't like it, fuck it. If they cut it off, fuck it. If they delete it, fuck it. It's just an absolute fuck it. That's because that's the only way for me to stay focused. Because if I'm just overly concerned, then again, it's just the content suffers. If y'all want me in my most authentic form, I gotta be on fuck it mode. I'm like, I can't think about if YouTube's gonna like it, if people's gonna agree or disagree. I just gotta speak from the heart and just leave it where it is, right? And that's just the only way to go about it. At this point, right? I wasn't always. I used to care about YouTube and how I was perceived, but then the shirt came off. Then I started cussing. Then I let the demons come out, right? Then I started speaking about the underworld. And there's no looking back after that. Because after you done been in hell, after you done been to the underworld, what is there to fear? You done already mastered death itself. What is there to fear? But do you accept your destiny? Because you must accept it. It ain't just going to come to you. You must accept your destiny. So if it's my destiny to be a goddamn porn star, guess what the fuck I'm going to be? I'm going to be a porn star, and I don't give a fuck about anybody's opinion about that, right? Because you see, when I try to do the right thing, usually all these limitations, all these blocks I gotta go through just to do the right thing. And we wonder why people do the wrong thing. Cause look at all the obstacles I gotta go through just to be righteous, just to do the right thing, just to tell you to get on your job, right? So you wonder why people just say like, you know what, fuck it, let me just go shake some ass. Like, am I really trying to deal with these obstacles of the status quo? So I get it. That's why I don't judge nobody. I understand like, yo, you probably was a righteous person, but you know, people hate on righteous people. Do you really want to deal with the bullshit when you don't have to? When you can just make a fucking OnlyFans and then people pay you? Instead of worrying about fucking ads on YouTube? But that's the power of the internet. The internet gives you so many options and avenues. It allows you to be whatever you want to be. So you just gotta make the decision what route you want to take. Do you want to go through the sun, the number one, or do you want to go through zero? It's your choice to make, right? Because the internet, you can be both. That's why people be making their TikToks. People be trying to be fucking spiritual enlighteners and motivational speakers and influencers. That's the light route. That's all about the ego. Then you got the darker route, fucking porn sites and taboo sites and hidden information, joy of Satan type shit, witchcraft, black magic type shit, right? Because the internet, then you got the dark web. If you want to go even darker, you got the dark web, which most people don't even understand. So this is what I'm saying. Most people still don't understand this technomancy shit at all. Most people don't even know how to access the dark web, let alone how to navigate it. Because they ain't even conquered the fucking pornography. If pornography is too much for you, yeah, don't ever go on the goddamn dark web. If it's shit that's already on the known web and it's already too much, this one's that people just soft as fuck. That's just, this is call it what it is. If pornography is too hard and you're not even aware of real life. Because there's shit on the dark web that will turn your stomach upside down. You just shit that you're just not ready to see. That when you are exposed to certain things, that it changes you. That's the real Plutonian science. But again, that's the type of shit that people ain't gonna talk about and they're not gonna reveal because it's like most people do. They don't know what to do with it. They will fuck themselves up trying to understand some shit that they're not ready to understand. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and clock out of this bitch. Love is a law. Love under will. Move in the direction of your destiny or get left behind and have to repeat this shit over and over and over again. Reincarnation is a thing until it no longer is a thing. But the choice is yours. Accept the shadow or not. 93.